1:47 a.m. Chicago is a graveyard of neon lights at this hour. The app pinged. Mercy Hospital, the old wing. Nobody goes there unless they're looking for ghosts or trouble. As I pulled up, the radio died in a static scream. Then he appeared. A silhouette in a gray overcoat, smelling like an ER room after a fire. He didn't look at me. He just sat in the back and whispered an address that wasn't on any map I knew. Blackwood Alley, he said. His voice sounded like dry bones scraping against cold asphalt. And stay off the highway. They're watching the bridges tonight. I tried to be polite. Cold night, isn't it? I asked, looking for a distraction. Silence. I glanced at the rearview mirror, and my blood turned to ice. The back seat was empty, just a shadow and the streetlights passing through the window. I slammed on the brakes, tires screaming against the asphalt. I turned around, my heart pounding in my throat. He was right there, sitting stiffly, his head bowed. But when I looked back at the mirror, he was gone again. Then, right in front of me, the leather of the seat started to sink. Deep, heavy, like an invisible lead weight was sitting inches away from my neck. And the car started to lean to the left, under the weight of a ghost I couldn't see in the glass. The lock snapped. Locked, trapped in a metal coffin on wheels. "Keep driving," he whispered. His breath smelled of damp earth and old electricity. I looked at the mirror. I wish I hadn't. His face, it wasn't human. It was a glitch, like a corrupted file. His eyes were endless pits of static, and his teeth, they glowed, a cold radioactive white against the gray rot of his skin. He didn't blink. He just stared through the glass, his grin widening until it reached his ears. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking through me, at something coming up fast behind the car. 80 miles per hour. The engine was screaming, but the shadows were faster. They didn't run. They flowed over the asphalt like spilled ink. I could hear their fingers, long skeletal needles, scraping against the passenger door. Scratch. Scratch. "Eyes on the road," he barked from the back. "They want your gaze. They want to see the life in your pupils before they take it." I looked at a green highway sign, expecting to see downtown Chicago. Instead, it read, "Mortuary, 1 mile." The city was dying around me, turning into a maze of brick and bone. The tunnel turned blood red. The lights above were like open wounds. "Who are you?" I choked out. "What are you?" He leaned forward, his glitchy face filling the rearview mirror until I couldn't see the road anymore. "I'm a driver," he whispered. "I loved the night just like you, until the night loved me back too much." His hand on my shoulder was frozen metal, the ghost of a car wreck. I looked at the dash. The gas was vanishing. The miles were ticking backward to the moment of impact. "Welcome to the shift," he grinned. "You aren't driving me to a destination. You're driving me to freedom and taking my place in the dark." Blackwood Alley didn't belong to the city. It belonged to the dead. The walls were surgical tiles, cold and weeping with damp. Instead of street signs, there were arrows pointing to the morgue. I slammed the brakes, but the car ignored me, gliding over a sea of discarded medical records. Then the knocking started. Thump, thump, thump. From the trunk. It wasn't a person, it was a rhythm of bone on steel. "Do you hear them?" he whispered, his frozen hand squeezing my seat. The ones who looked in the mirror. The ones who saw what was behind the glass. They've been waiting for a new driver to join the fleet. The knocking stopped. Then the scratching began. Scritch, scritch, like 1,000 rats trapped in a steel box. The trunk groaned, the metal buckling from the inside. "Open it," the voice commanded. But the seat behind me was empty. Only the smell of a cold grave remained. I looked at the mirror. In the frost of my own breath on the glass, words appeared. "They want to be driven." Then the latch snapped. The trunk flew open. From the darkness, fingers emerged. Long, skinless, ivory-white bone. They weren't trying to get out. They were trying to pull the car and me into the dark with them. The alley opened into a nightmare, a highway of headstones, tall as skyscrapers. And then the voices. "Leo, Leo." They were calling me from the back seat, from the trunk, from the very air I breathed. My mother's voice, my own voice. "They're stealing your name," the man in the mirror whispered. He was weeping oil now, dark and heavy. I looked at my hands. My skin was turning to glass. Underneath, instead of veins, I saw numbers. Red glowing digits of an odometer ticking up, up. Every mile I drove took a piece of who I was. I wasn't a man anymore. I was becoming the machine. I thought I was going home. I thought I was back at Mercy. But the mirror, it wasn't showing me the past anymore. It was showing me the truth. Sitting in my back seat was me, or what was left of me. His eyes were empty sockets, his skin like wet ash. He reached out and gripped my throat. "The mirror doesn't look back," he hissed. "It looks in." I looked at my hands. They were wrapped in bloody gauze, slick with oil. The road vanished. There was no highway, only the smell of exhaust and the cold walls of a locked garage. I wasn't a driver. I was the cargo. The sun rose over Chicago, but I was still in the dark. The door handles were bone. The steering wheel was ice. Then the phone pinged. A new fare, a new driver. I saw him, a younger version of me, full of life, full of hope, standing at the hospital entrance. I wasn't the one driving anymore. I was the weight in the back. I was the smell of the ER and the cold of the grave. I leaned forward, my glitchy breath brushing his ear. "Stay off the highway," I whispered. "They're watching the bridges tonight." The engine roared to life. My shift had finally begun, and it will never, ever end.